Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts and prepare your taste buds as we embark on a relentless journey through the kingdom of brews. Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
What's up, everybody? It's the Ginger Yeti checking in from home. And what I have for you today is another beer that I received through our beer trade with Wayne at Bucks County Beer Reviews. Thank you so much for this beer. And the beer he provided me with today is a blonde from Asbury Park Brewing in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I've been on a roll here with blondes and pilsners lately. I don't know why. But this beer here, pretty cool beer. On the side of the can, I want to read you something because it's going to lead into the next part. Founded in Asbury Park by local musicians and beer freaks. So I saw that right before I got ready to do this video, and I had to look it up. I want to read you something here because it's near and dear to me. Since I do work in the music industry, love live music, paid my bills for decades now working in the live music industry. So I wanted to read you this about the brewery, and it is a bit long, I'll warn you now. So if you want to skip forward to when I start talking about the beer again, I don't blame you. I don't want to hear myself talk either. But let's get into it. Stone Pony, Fast Lane, The Saint, Convention Hall, Wonder Bar, Casino Skate Park, etc. The founders of Asbury Park Brewery all came of age playing their various bands of rock music of these venues and more in historic city by the sea. Music and beer are kindred spirits. Go back in history to ancient Mesopotamia, where the beer-making process was accompanied by hymns to Ninkasi, the goddess of beer. Instead of chanting hymns, the brewing process at APB has a punk rock soundtrack. Asbury Park Brewery opened its doors in an old warehouse on Sewell Avenue in August of 2016. It quickly became a favorite haunt of locals and beer enthusiasts, as well as touring bands. The tasting room itself actually became an unofficial venue for punk bands coming through the area. Founder Bob McLinn learned about good beer while touring Europe in '94. Beer and music have always been my two passions. I was one of those guys that would drink a case of light beer on a weekend when I was younger. I went to Europe for the first time with my band for 2 months right after graduating from Rutgers. We played 13 different countries, 14 shows in Germany alone. Every city had its own brewery, and that's what we would get backstage each night. It changed me forever. I could totally understand that. I absolutely relate to that. After touring the world and putting out records with several bands, the Step Kings, Headlock, Bob went on to found Crush Management in New York City, which apparently manages Green Day, Miley Cyrus, Fall Out Boy, etc. But beer was always part of the program. Bars were the next step. He opened Angels and Kings, a bar focused on beer and music in New York City's East Village with his partner and some of the artists they worked with. They opened 3 more locations in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Barcelona. I've actually never heard of that bar. I wonder if it still exists. In 2011, at the Chicago location where Bob started his journey in brewing, they brewed a beer called Capone Amber Ale in partnership with Half Acre Brewing, served at Angels and Kings among a few other local Chicago spots. The next chapter in brewing came out of the Crush Sports office in Carlsbad, California. Josh Landon was managing surfers there. He came up with an idea to start a brewery with several of his surfers and other action sports personalities involved. Bob was one of the first partners to help Josh start and see through his vision for St. Archer Brewing. I think I've had some beers from them. It was a whirlwind 2 years at St. Archer with incredible growth, medals at the Great American Beer Festival, and ultimately selling the Miller Coors in 2015. That's a shame, but at least they cashed out. At first, it was kind of fun, says Bob. I was up in Seattle for work, and the Yankees were in town that afternoon, so I walked over to the stadium. There was a whole line of taps of St. Archer beer. Ordered a pale ale, went to my seat to watch the Yanks. It all happened so fast with St. Archer, it seemed too good to be true. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. Started seeing national ads on TV for a watered-down Michelob Ultra ripoff called St. Archer Gold. Like it often happens, a big company takes over the little company, got rid of the staff, and watered down the brand. St. Archer was discontinued by Miller Coors shortly after. Chris Cornell and Mike Pimco have been staples in the Asbury music and surfing scene for years. They played in the band Kid with Manhead together in the late 90s and early aughts, putting out records and touring. Between them, they have been involved in several businesses in Asbury Park over the years, including Pimco's Style Rocket boutique on the boardwalk. Chris also founded Manhead Merchandising, which makes tour merch for an array of acts from the Deftones. I've worked with Manhead before. Worked with Manhead on a few tours with Apocalyptica, so that's pretty cool. At this point, with the bars all closed and St. Archer being sold, Bob was ready to start another brewery. This time back home where his life in music started, he had known Chris a long time from the music business. Chris introduced Bob to Mike and a guy named Jeff Plate, another musician from Mother Mania from Asbury scene. Jeff has since moved on and focused on his law career and family. Together they started planning a brewery in the town where they had sown their music oats. Told you this was going to be a long one. They launched the brewery with traditional style brews like Blonde Lager, Stout, and Oktoberfest. We weren't trying to compete with all the other breweries who were focused on high-gravity IPAs, McLean said. We were more inclined to experiment with subtle malts. It wasn't until almost a year later that they brewed their first IPA, Sea Dragon, which became an immediate hit with people down the shore. The Dragon family of IPAs has since grown in several styles. The Sea Dragon name comes with the brewery logo, which is a replica of art sculpted on the side of Convention Hall in Asbury. Fast forward today, in the new brewery space on Cook Avenue, downtown Asbury, the brand has grown throughout New Jersey and beyond with several styles, including Scarlet Ale, a beer inspired by Rutgers Scarlet Knights, which was McLean's alma mater. I told you guys that was going to be a long read, but a beer like this that's related to music, near and dear to my heart. This is super sick. I'm super stoked that Wayne sent this to me. And when I was looking this up, the other thing I saw was apparently the brewery is temporarily closed, at least the tap rooms and such, because they're moving to a new location. And an article that came out today or yesterday said that they should be opening soon, next month or two. So hopefully they get opened back up, because this seems like a really cool spot, really cool brewery, and a beer related to live music is right up my alley. Really appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you very much. I've talked about this enough. I have had one beer before from this brewery. It was called 4-4 IPA. It was, and if you look at it, look it up, it's 4/4. I really like that beer. It was good. But I've spoke long enough. I'm thirsty. Let's talk about the beer again. This beer gets a 3.43 on Untapped with 8.3 thousand check-ins. On Beer Advocate, gets an 81 good with 34 check-ins. That's fizzing pretty loud. It's a nice fizzy off-white head. There's that Sea Dragon. As far as colors, like typical what you expect for a blonde. Slightly cloudy, but you can see through it for the most part. And that's just probably a 2 on the SRMs. What you expect from a blonde. Don't expect to get much smell off it either, but we'll see. Kind of that, almost that grainy smell that you get off of some beers. But it's very faint. Not much else there. And you know, I spoke for so long, I'm sure everybody's tuned out by now and nobody's made it this far. But if you have, I'm definitely ready for a beer. If you made it this far, cheers to you. Surprisingly, I get a little bit of a, like the Euro lager kind of flavor to it, which I didn't expect. But just in the first mouthful, after that first mouthful, and this beer has traveled quite a bit. I mean, who knows what the service that it traveled through and delivered it to me did do it on the way in. But after that, you get a nice little bit of maltiness, nice little hop, like nice little balanced beer there. Again, this is an easy drinking beer. It's a blonde. It's well balanced. I was surprised about that first mouthful. But after that, this is a nice, well-balanced beer. I would definitely give this a horns up. Thank you, Wayne. It's a good beer. I would drink this again. I definitely enjoy this beer. And super, super cool that this is like a music-related beer. I mean, this is perfect beer to send me. You know, I'm sure you're all tired of hearing me read things, but I forgot to read you something on the can. A guy from England said blondes have more fun. Bob went blonde on blonde. This light-bodied European-style lager features Pilsner malt and European noble hops of the highest quality. Also pairs well with the album Mr. Ocean. I'm also not familiar with Mr. Ocean. I know Wayne made a comment about that. But that little description right there makes sense. I mean, that's why it's kind of got that Euro lager flavors mixed in there with the subtle flavors of a blonde. Again, overall, it's good beer. Thank you very much, Wayne. Really appreciate it. Hope you think my video is a good video. If you made it this far, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down below. I'm sure I've talked too long at this point, but with me, it's always an adventure, so embrace that adventure.